Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second webinar in our series, How to Have Your Best Year Ever. If you don't mind typing into the chat box and letting us know that you can hear us, that would be great, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, fantastic. Let's get started. Webinar number 2, just in time for spring cleaning. Today we are going to talk about detoxing. Just some housekeeping notes here before we get started. We will be having time for question and answer at the end, but go ahead if you've got questions while we're talking, put them in the chat box. And if you're watching this on a replay and you have questions that aren't answered, please feel free to contact us over email, and we'll be giving you our emails in just a minute. I'm just checking here. Sorry, I'm checking the attendees to make sure everyone was able to get on because it just looks different from last time. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Let's check to make sure.
Okay, so without further ado, I am here today with two amazing women. Kecia Lyons is the owner of Integrated Wellness Products, and she's also the co-founder with her husband of Nutra Relief Inc. And she is going to present a really basic overview regarding the science behind detoxing. It was really interesting when we started to come together to present this webinar. Really, honestly, each of us could do a year-long seminar on this topic. Today, we just wanted to give you some fun, practical, simple tips as they relate to our different areas, and so we hope you enjoy that. Christine Van Tassel is the CEO of Fresh Start Nutrition, and today she's going to share several ways you can detox through food and drink. She's going to share some fun things you can do to detox your body, and she's also going to give you some surprising facts about things that you may not have thought about before. And I'm DrHeatherRenee Frederick, the owner of DrHeatherRenee, and I am going to talk about your energy field and how you can detox from some energy that may not be serving you. So although we each have our own business, we've come together in this series because we really have one simple goal, and that is to help you feel great. Now, during this series, what we're going to do is present evidence-based, leading edge research, and we balance that with not only our experience, but the experience of our clients. Now, before we launch into some practical tips that we know you can use right away, I do have to remind you that this webinar is for educational purposes only. Now, you may be wondering, okay, Heather, do I need to detox? Well, listed on the slide, you see some signs and symptoms that your body can give you. And yeah, a lot of these are normal things that we're going to experience from time to time. But what we want to make you aware of is that if you can implement some really kind of simple daily rituals into your routine, then you can stop the body from being overburdened. And it's really when you get overburdened that you have this onset of illness and disease. So on this slide, I want to talk to you about what may be a different paradigm than you're used to. So, perhaps you've heard people talk about, I have X or I have Y. People are talking about cancer diagnoses, or I have Crohn's disease, or rheumatoid arthritis. But what I want you to consider is, what if there was really only one disease? And that is a malfunctioning cell. So on this slide, you see that there's two causes for cellular malfunction. Either a deficiency, that's when your cells just aren't getting what they need, or toxicity. They're getting too much of something that's not good for them. And that's going to be our focus today. So the short story here is, and think about this because it makes a lot of sense, if your cells are healthy, then you are healthy. So where are these toxins coming from? In general, we've got external toxins. These are things that are being absorbed by your body. Maybe you're ingesting them or you're drinking them. They're coming from us every which way. They are out there. These are external toxins that you can be aware of, and some of these we're going to talk about today. But there are also internal toxins. These are created by your body or your mind. So for example, if you're constipated or your liver isn't functioning well, That's going to create some toxins internally. But in just the same way, if you've got negative thoughts or you're running your life in fear and anxiety, guess what? That's going to create some toxins too. And we're going to cover all of this in today's talk. So again, the bottom line, look, guys, we live in a toxic world, but there are things that you can do that you can implement into your lifestyle that's going to help bring your body back into balance. And when the body's in balance, amazing things can happen, because if you give your body the right raw material and the right environment, it can heal itself. So at this point, I am going to introduce Kecia Lyons, and she again is going to educate you just on some basics behind the science of detoxing. Kecia is an energetic corporate trainer and consultant in the integrated wellness industry, and she's calling in today from Palm Desert, California. As I mentioned before, she is the co-founder of NutriLeaf, a company that formulates pure functional nutritional creams, which utilize the skin as a point of delivery. So at the core of her philosophy is that the conventional approach to health can be improved. Kecia, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Heather. I'm so excited to be here this evening. I really appreciate that lovely introduction. And hello, everybody. So let's get down to it. How does the body detoxify? What's the science of detox? Well, detoxification means cleansing the blood. And this is done by removing impurities from the body. And I'm going to keep it really simple this evening, but I'm going to go through some of the key important organs that your body utilizes to detoxify itself. So what does detoxification actually involve? Well, the body uses an organ system to eliminate toxic waste. And it involves not only the colon and the intestines, but also involves the lungs, the skin, the kidney, and the liver. So which one of these organs do you think actually removes the most toxins? Bingo. In fact, this really blew my mind. I got to tell you this. When I did the research, I kept going, no way, no way. And I kept researching and researching. But in fact, on a daily basis, the human body removes the most amount of toxins through the lungs. I swear I could have, you would have asked me this and I would have said, oh, for sure the liver. Okay, but no, the lungs. So when it comes to exercise and breathing, it's extremely important for us to remove toxins on a daily basis through our lungs, because that's the way our body actually gets rid of the most toxins. And that's why it's really important to do activities, for example, like meditation and perhaps running or walking or aerobic or elliptical trainer, or, anything that basically gets you breathing, okay? Deep breaths. It's just very important to take deep breaths, because this is the way your body can maintain a toxic-free environment. So if you haven't been doing anything lately like that, then now you have a whole new reason to add to your I must get it together for summer list, okay? Because not only is it going to help you feel better and lose weight or release weight and get healthy, but it's actually going to help your body detox. So let's talk a little bit more about the lungs and the pH scale. The lungs are also a primary way that our body controls blood pH. Therefore, maintaining an alkaline blood pH is very important for our health. And people today are really into alkaline food and alkaline water, but the primary way our body controls blood pH is actually through our lungs. So again, I just want to stress this one more time. It's really important to engage in some kind of activity that forces you to take deep breaths, whether it's yoga, again, running or walking or whatever you need to do to really take deep breaths. And I think that we can all agree that taking a deep breath really makes us feel good. And also, now it helps release a lot of toxins, actually the most amount of toxins in your body. So I want to point something out before we click off of this slide. I want to just have you look at the pH scale with me for 1 second, okay? And Christine's going to go into more depth about this as a nutritionist and from a nutrition perspective. But look at the pH scale. Look at the foods that are actually in the alkaline, which is the top part. Spinach is alkaline, broccoli, olive oil, green tea, apples, almonds, carrots. So you want to be eating these things, okay, because they're alkaline. And again, it ties it back into the fact that the primary way our body controls blood pH is through our lungs and alkalinity. So if you look at the bottom part, fruit juices, eggs, fish, you start to go a little bit lower, beer, sugar, coffee, white bread, and of course, soda is the worst. Okay, I know once in a while I have it, but it's the worst, I got to tell you. So you got to really make sure that you have one of these things that creates a lot of acidity in your body, that you absolutely balance it out with alkaline water or alkaline foods. So really important to see where these awesome foods actually fall on the pH scale. So now let's go to the next organ, because remember, it's an organ system that helps your body detoxify. So the skin is our largest organ. Yet not everyone thinks that the skin is actually an organ, but it is. It's the largest organ we have. So we're always permeating something out of the skin, whether we see it or not. And of course, if you live in a warmer climate like we do here in Southern California or other parts of the United States or other parts of the world, you're going to see more of that permeating on your skin than not. You'll tend to see at the end of the day that you have a little bit of an oily film on your skin, especially in the face. And actually, that's a good thing, because when we talk about toxins, we're usually talking about two different types. Okay, those that are fat soluble and those that are water soluble. And if you look at the skin slide, the toxins accumulate on the cells the toxins that accumulate in our cells become dangerous. And our skin is the first defense against environmental pollutants that we'll go into, as we talked about external and internal pollutants. So it's really important that we're perspiring. So let's go a little bit more into these two types of actual fat soluble and water soluble. So this is a great slide, and I want to slow down for a second, and I want to point out a couple of things, okay? So the water-soluble toxins are easier for our body to get rid of, because they basically, the more fluids you drink, okay, think of it like this. The more fluids you drink, the more you go to the restroom, and the more you flush out these water-soluble toxins. So for example, I have some people in my life who hate drinking water. They're like, coffee does it or wine does it, but that doesn't work. You must drink water, not just because of all the reasons why we know water is so important, but now you have an additional reason, because literally drinking that water and flushing out and going to the restroom on a regular basis is helping you get rid of the water-soluble toxins in your body, okay? And you actually eliminate them obviously through your urine, your bile, your stool, but you got to get those water-soluble toxins out. Now, the fat-soluble toxins are a little bit different story here. Okay, they're more difficult for us to get rid of because they accumulate in our fat cells. And so these are the ones that we are concerned with the most. These are the ones like pesticides and PCB and mercury, bad toxins, okay? And these are fat soluble. And because they accumulate in our cells, they become very dangerous to our health. So underneath our skin, if you think about it this way, underneath our skin is a whole layer of fat. And when we perspire, we actually remove some of those fat-soluble toxins that have been deposited into the fat cells underneath our skin. So again, it's really important to help our body perspire on a regular basis, because it helps our liver and our kidneys not have to deal with so much of the workload of eliminating toxins, that the skin can help remove them via the skin, via the sweating, via the perspiring, and you can help out your liver and your kidneys. So please take deep breaths, please exercise, please sweat, not just because of the fact that it'll make you feel good with endorphins, but now you know that you really want to get rid of those fat solubles that are right underneath the skin, okay? But there's a problem. We have a problem in our society. People don't like to sweat, okay, for the most part in our culture. And this is not good, because we live in a society where they don't want to sweat, and it's not good because the body eliminates toxins through our skin. It's the largest organ, remember, okay, on a daily basis. In other words, we don't get to choose where we send our toxins. It's not like, you guys, we can wake up tomorrow and say, okay, hey, I'm going to send all my toxins to my colon tomorrow. Hey, it's Friday. It's colon Friday. No, that's not going to work, okay? You don't get to say that. Your body sends toxins through your lungs, obviously, because that's the way it removes the most, through this, and then through the skin, and then the liver and the kidneys. So therefore, it's really important to help your body remove toxins from the skin once they're there, because if not, then you're not creating circulation. And if you're not perspiring and they're accumulating in the skin, then the immune system has to kick in and gets involved, and more inflammation and stress on the body can occur. So again, the key takeaway is that it's important to support detoxification through your lungs and your skin, really separate from the other organs that we all know help our body detox. So let's look at this next slide, because this literally is my favorite slide, okay? When we were practicing, Heather's like, this is the slide that is the ticket to admission. And I had an aha personal moment when I found this. I went, oh my sweet goodness, no wonder. So let's just look at this real quick together, okay? This is my favorite slide because of the fact that it gave me a point of clarity about weight and losing the weight and dieting, okay? So if you look at the top part of the slide, the top part, if you look at the little person on the far left, our body puts fat on us to protect against toxins. So I know it'll put fat on if you're eating poorly and you're not exercising, but let's talk about it in the conversation of detoxification tonight, okay? And the science of detoxifying. So you have all these toxins in your body, and your body's like, oh no, no way, man. And so it's going to put fat on it to protect against toxins. So then we say, okay, that's it. I don't like being this heavy. Okay, this is not fun. You know, it's hard to tie my tennis shoes. This sucks. So then we burn the fat, we drop the weight, but our bodies redistribute the toxins throughout our body because we didn't detox. We just released weight. And then eventually our bodies notice, okay, our body notices that the toxins are still in there. So it reacts to the increased toxins by producing more fat cells, which ends up being on the top part of the slide, the little person on the right. And we rebound and we get heavy again. And I'm like, okay, yeah, most women and most Americans that struggle with weight can relate to the top part of this for sure. So then I looked at the bottom and I said, no way, no wonder, okay? Because when you look at the bottom part of the slide and we do proper dieting plus cellular detox, the whole ball game changes, okay? So as I mentioned before, fat cells store toxins to protect our body. But if we do proper dieting, which we all know we have to do in order to release them and the weight, but if we do proper dieting plus cellular detox, then when the fat is burned off of our bodies, the toxins do not redistribute throughout the body because our bodies don't have to react to those toxins because there's nothing left behind because we detoxed, right? We didn't just lose on the scale or skinny down in our clothing. We actually did a cellular detox as well, which is great because our body doesn't have to put the fat back on us to protect against these toxins, which ultimately means no rebound, which I have to say, yahoo, okay, because this is something that I've really never done. I've been thin before and I'm heavy and then I've been thin, but I've never done a cellular detox in the middle of my getting myself in shape. And so I would always feel like it took longer to release the weight or sometimes you get it back. This is key. Don't forget the bottom part of this slide, okay? But let's move on because I only have a short amount of time. So the kidney, super simple with the kidney, okay? The takeaway here, our kidneys, all the fluids go through the kidneys. That's it. So here's the deal on this before you click away. You got to have a come to Jesus conversation with your kidneys, okay? Because if you're not drinking enough water and you're having coffee or tea or alcohol or sodas or, you know, sugar things or iced teas, your poor kidneys, I mean, they're going to have a come to Jesus talk with you, actually. They're going to be like, hey, man, you're wearing me out. So please make sure you realize that everything that you're drinking is going through the kidneys, and those bad boys, they get tired. So make sure you're really using your lungs, your skin, and you're doing a lot of flushing out of water in addition to the kidneys so they don't have to get so tired. And then there's the colon, okay? The takeaway here, all solids go through the colon, small intestine, large intestine. And we could do an entire little segment just on the colon, but I don't have time to go into each one and peel the layers off of each one because it's just, we're doing 3 separate segments. But obviously, you know, the colon's very important to get all of that toxicity out of your colon. So a colonic is really important. You know, it's very important to eat things that will help you flush out your colon, small and large intestine. But the basic takeaway is that the fluids go through the kidney and the solids go through the colon. Now let's talk about the liver, okay? Because the liver, and here's what's important. Technically, the liver is not what we call an excretory organ. In other words, things don't technically leave the body via the liver, okay? But it's probably one of the most important organs when it comes to detoxification because one of its jobs, it's got a hard job, by the way, you guys. One of its jobs is to filter out and neutralize chemical toxins that are circulating in your body so that they don't harm you. So it doesn't just have to filter them out, it has to neutralize them. It's got like a double phase function. And actually the liver does function in 2 phases to literally transform these toxins to get them ready to get out of your body. And so the 2 phases have to be in balance with one another and depend on very important nutrients to perform optimally. And I want to say it again because we're going to click on the next slide. Go ahead. Because you got to have these nutrients in your system in order for the liver to perform optimally. So what is the detoxification pathways? What are those required nutrients? Well, let's look at this. It's really, really easy, actually, when you take a moment to understand this part of the science of what your body's doing. So when you look at this slide, there are required nutrients in each step 1 and step 2 in order for these detoxification pathways to perform at their best. So if you look at step 1, you got to have B vitamins, folic acid, glutathione, antioxidants, carotenoids, vitamin E, vitamin C. Very important. And if you look right above that list, it says required nutrients. It's not called like if you feel like it, okay, nutrients, or when you get around to it, nutrients. It's called required, okay, for your liver to be able to go through this pathway, to have these two functions perform together. If you look at step 2, then it goes even into more depth. Your liver's like, I need even more nutrients, okay? So hello, another come to Jesus conversation. Your liver's saying to you, it's like, give me amino acids. I need glutathione, thank you, glycine, taurine, okay? I need, garlic and I love this word. I can never say it right. I can't say it. Vegetables. You got to be eating these things and supplementing with these things, with your greens, with your reds, because your liver needs you to. Okay. So don't just listen to it as something you've always known you're supposed to do, but actually understand that your liver has got to have it. Like bottom line, period. Okay. So one of the most important benefits that you can be supplementing with is glutathione. And I'm sure that some of you have heard of this, but it was actually on both steps. Okay, both step 1 and step 2 had glutathione and glutathione. So why is glutathione literally considered the mother of all antioxidants? Well, you've probably heard of the term antioxidants because, basically corporations and everybody markets it heavily, okay? And if you're in the health and wellness, you definitely know about it. But many food products boast of being high in antioxidants, but do you actually really know what that means? So I did some research, like instead of just saying, oh yeah, I know antioxidants, I actually looked it up, okay? And one of the most important antioxidants is glutathione. And it plays a really integral role in maintaining our health and well-being and overall toxicity in our body, okay? And glutathione is an amino acid. And the reason it's so important is because in its reduced form, you look on the slide, okay, it moves through the cells collecting like a magnet, collects the toxins like mercury and PCBs and all the other stuff I mentioned, and it just really picks up those free radicals and heavy metals and swiftly removes them out of the body. It's so important that you got to be taking glutathione. I'm not kidding you, okay? And if you click on the next slide, I'm going to show you some of the key benefits, and I'm about to wrap up. So the bottom line is this, okay? Dr. David Katz, the director of Yale University's Prevention Research Center, literally said, quote unquote, glutathione is the most important antioxidant. It's the one the body relies on to clean up critical toxins. And I have some other slides, which I couldn't put in here because, it's sometimes a little too much information, overload, but glutathione is literally nicknamed the mother of all antioxidants. And it goes into your cells. So it doesn't even just help your body and your liver detoxify, but it goes in and helps your cells detoxify. So if you look at this quick list with me, just to take some takeaways, it will help you increase your energy, okay? It will reduce muscle and joint discomfort. It will detoxify the liver and the cells. That's why this is so different. Okay, I'm not just talking about like just, a normal everyday antioxidant. This is the mama, okay? This is the Mac Daddy. This is the mother of all antioxidants. It helps reduce the effects of stress. It improves the skin and athletic performance. There's so many cool things. So I can go into glutathione just by itself, but I just want to point this particular one amino acid out because it's a required nutrient and step 2 phase of your liver detoxification. So you got to have it, okay? You got to start supplementing with it. And basically, as a nutraceutical company, that's why Daniel and I felt it was really important to supplement and support detoxification and functional nutrition by literally formulating another way of your body getting glutathione. So we created a topical glutathione plus, and we call it glutathione plus because it's got other things in there that I won't go into tonight, like B12 and all these other amazing things in there, not just the glutathione. But basically, we formulated this so we use liposomal technology, if you know anything about that, so that people could use the skin in addition to other ways of supplementing as a point of delivery, just so that the bioactives of this master antioxidant wouldn't be compromised by the digestion phase, the stomach and the bile. We're not anti-oral, but it's really important to have different options, okay? So basically, every night I rub this cream over my skin. I rub it over my liver area to help boost my immune system and help get the toxins out, but technically, because it goes into your system, you can rub it anywhere on your body. And that's it. I really hope that you guys got some key takeaways from a science perspective, from a not like, I don't have a PhD in science. So hopefully I'm talking and explaining this with a little bit more layman's terms, but I hope that you really learn about, some takeaways. And if you want to know more, go to our websites, go to NutriLeaf.com, go to integratedwellnessproducts.com. Okay. Check out the blogs, check out the stuff. I'd love it if you'd follow me on Facebook. You can find us on NutriLeaf Inc. and Integrated Wellness Products. And if you don't like Facebook, we're on LinkedIn and Twitter and Pinterest and the whole enchilada. And if you have any questions, email me. Okay. I have some awesome documents and articles about what I talked about tonight that I just took the nuggets from, because, you can't go into like massive amounts of science in a quick little segment. But if you want me to email you those documents, email me and I'll send them to you. And then I just really appreciate your attention. I hope that you got and received a few key takeaways that can support your detoxification goals with a little bit more science knowledge of what your organ system is doing and excitement. And just remember this, okay? All your organs you have to utilize in order to detoxify. All of them are important, not just one. So I want to thank you for that. And now let's move on to the next part. So it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Christine. She's an amazing woman, and I'm so happy that I'm so blessed that she is my friend in my life. And she's going to provide some really good tips from a nutritionist standpoint. Okay, so let me just tell you who she is. Christine graduated from the Natural Healing Institute and is a certified nutritionist and the owner of Fresh Start Nutrition. And she's calling in tonight from San Diego, which I love, but works with clients all around the world via Skype and phone. And as a holistic nutritionist, Christine is really passionate and dedicated to helping both men and women use food as a medicine to heal from the root cause of any imbalance and ailments so that people can feel transformed, they can feel revitalized, feel healthy, feel happy. So Christine, it's an honor and a pleasure to pass the baton to you, and let's get into the perspective of a nutritionist. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Kecia. I'm just blown away by all your information. I get so excited every time I hear you educate us on the science behind our popular health topics for each series. Thank you so much for the great information you shared, and I really want to thank you and Daniel for creating glutathione. I use mine every day. I can't imagine living life without it. It's phenomenal. So as you're learning, toxins are coming at us every which way. So it's critical we start incorporating daily detoxing habits into our lives so we can lift burden on our body every day, not just once a year or on occasion by doing a deeper detox. I think it's a great idea to do those when you're trying to eliminate food allergens and reduce inflammation. But overall, taking these small daily actions is what's going to help you achieve better health in the long run. Just today, I got an email and several sources were saying that there are close to 3 million tons of toxic chemicals released every year, and 2 million tons alone are recognized as carcinogens. That's pretty scary stuff. So this is why it's really important to take daily actions to reduce our toxic load. Similar to dieting, it's important to start making those lifestyle changes now based on the challenges we face in today's toxic environment. I want to emphasize when I meet with my clients, I have quite a few pages of questions I ask before tailoring a detox. It's especially important to learn what critical steps you need to take before you start detoxing and what to expect during your detox. Because there's so many different types of detoxes out there these days, we're just going to go through something different. I'm just going to go into a little bit of detail, but not on one particular type of detox. However, I do want to share with you some general guidelines for things you can incorporate right away. You'll be able to learn what things you can do each day that are going to be more gentle, and it's going to give you that long-term result. So if you're going to do a full-on detox and you haven't done one before, I always recommend that you talk with a naturopathic doctor beforehand or work closely with a nutritionist to find out the best way to detox for your particular needs. So today I'm going to teach you several things you can do to start detoxing. So let's get started with some great detoxing drinks. First, we have lemon water. So it's really great, especially when you wake up in the morning, your body's dehydrated from a long night's sleep. So we want to start out with a glass of this refreshing and detoxifying water with at least a half to a full-size lemon squeezed in each cup. It's a very powerful antioxidant, and there's so many health benefits for drinking this every single day. So lemon water is going to help cleanse your blood and your arteries. It's surprisingly alkalizing. It aids your liver in releasing toxins, and it regulates your bowels, which is by far one of the most important bodily functions you should be having every single day. It's crucial for detoxing, just as Kecia had mentioned. Next, we have my favorite. Everybody that knows me always sees me carrying a green drink around. So most people feel like it's really difficult to get in enough greens with every meal of the day. So investing in a good quality juicer or blender is going to be one of the best investments you can make for your health. There's so many more benefits to drinking this healthy concoction than just detoxing. Often people report having more energy, it promotes weight loss, your skin's going to start to glow, and it boosts your immune system. I want to emphasize how important it is to always buy organic when purchasing cold pressed juices or making these green drinks at home. If you don't buy organic, you're going to be loading your body up with more toxins and pesticides, and it's going to defeat the whole purpose of drinking that green drink. I've seen this happen in clients I work with when they first come into me, and I also have a friend who's a naturopathic doctor. Recently, she had a client complaining of chronic fatigue and pain. He seemed to be doing everything right on the surface. Well, it turned out the missing link was determined when an environmental toxicity test showed he had very high levels of pesticides and chemicals in his blood. It turned out those green drinks he was ordering every day from a well-known establishment we all go to that I won't mention were not organic. So make sure to always buy organic whenever possible. For those of you who missed our last talk, you can Google the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 to learn more about which fruits and vegetables are a must when buying organic, or you could just message me and I'll go ahead and send you some more information. In my practice, I also do environmental toxicity and glyphosate testing to see what your toxic load may be. It's often a good way to measure your progress when you're beginning a detox. So next we have green tea. I recommend you start incorporating green tea into your diet throughout the day and let this healthy beverage begin to work its magic. If you're currently drinking coffee every day, start substituting with a high quality, preferably organic green tea instead. Make sure it's not from China. So along with a healthy, nutrient-rich diet and exercise, the antioxidants in green tea will help you flush those toxins from your system while aiding in digestion and keeping you hydrated. Last but not least, we have a great tasting nutritional drink called Calibrate. So Calibrate is really cool because it's going to help your body to produce its own primary antioxidants. Most importantly, it's going to help you produce the glutathione. It's going to help your body allow to detox and heal itself naturally. Because as we age, we get overburdened with toxins, and our bodies need a jump start to help activate the wellness genes and make sure those primary antioxidants are doing their job, because they are the most powerful ones in healing. So if you believe your body has the power to heal itself when given the proper nutrients, like Heather was mentioning at the beginning of our talk, this is something you definitely want to check out, because our bodies can absolutely heal themselves when given the right nutrition. This is a great tasting drink you just mix with water, 1 scoop a day, maybe 2 if you need a little extra greens. And you could find out more information on this product on my website, freshstartnutritioncoach.com. Well, now that we've talked about some really great tasting detoxing drinks, let's look at the foods. So listed here are some really healthy foods that are going to help with daily detoxification. And Kecia mentioned this earlier, and I want to emphasize as well, I recommend eating high alkaline pH foods like spinach, broccoli, olive oil, lettuce, and celery. Earlier, Kecia shared that great alkaline pH chart with you. I suggest printing a copy of this, or there's more detailed ones off the internet you can use for reference when you're shopping. Because there's so many things you can buy, this is going to really help you narrow down your choices in selecting more alkalizing foods over acidic foods. One of the healthiest things you can do for detoxing is to make a large salad and add a lot of variety each day to get a wide array of nutrients. For salad dressing, I recommend you stay away from the store-bought ones and create your own. I like to mix olive oil, sunflower oil, chopped garlic, lemon, organic spices, and pepper. You know, the store-bought salad dressings are often loaded with high fructose corn syrup, corn oil, and added sugars and things I can't even pronounce. So I encourage you to start reading the labels of whatever may be lurking in your refrigerator. And if you want to add a little vinegar, I always recommend using a raw organic apple cider vinegar. It's one of the best ways to cleanse the body and kill bacteria as well. Well, now that you've learned about the foods and the drinks that are helpful for detoxing, you may be asking yourself, well, what about supplements? And that's a really great question. Kecia had a slide that was really phenomenal, and it talked about required nutrients that we need. And that was really wonderful. So if you'd like to get a copy of this at the end, please let us know and we could send that to you. But I kind of laugh when I see this slide because this used to be me years ago, and I'm sure many of you can relate. You're in the supplement aisle at the health food store and you're completely confused and frustrated. There's so much to buy. You don't know what to get for detoxing or which vitamins or fish oils to buy. It can be very confusing. But because we're all unique and there's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all supplement for everyone in regards to detoxing, due to everyone's unique food allergies, sensitivities, you may have methylation problems or health conditions. I'm not going to go into much detail today, but I'd be happy to discuss with you on an individual basis what I feel may be best for you in your detox journey. So feel free to reach out to me with any questions on that. But because our bodies are all being bombarded with so many environmental toxins, including the invisible ones like radiation and EMFs, I do believe that the one thing we can all absolutely benefit from, just as Kecia had mentioned, is that glutathione. You can use it via the cream. You can do IV infusions with your naturopathic doctor, or there's a particular form of supplement that I highly recommend as well. So it's very important to get that on a daily basis. So the next two slides you may find quite shocking. I know I did when I learned about these years ago, and that's why I wanted to share it with you today. It's really important to share these with you because it could be the missing link in achieving your best health and while detoxing as well. So for example, if you're drinking water all day long from plastic water bottles, I encourage you to start drinking from glass bottles and make sure to invest in a good quality alkaline water. There are so many chemicals in plastic, so many more than just BPA these days, especially when they've been sitting in your car or they're in the window at the grocery store soaking up the heat. It breaks my heart to see people buying those. You know, there's so many inexpensive water filters and pitchers you can shop for online these days. They're going to remove the heavy metals, chemicals, fluoride, chlorine, pesticides, and all the other bad stuff. So I really suggest investing in something like that as well. So how many of you have ever thought about that hot shower or bath you're taking as a source of toxicity? I know I never did until a few years ago. So here's an interesting fact you'll see on the slide. It only takes 26 seconds for chemicals in your personal care products and toxic water to enter your bloodstream. So it's just as important that what you put in your body is just as clean and high quality as what you put on top of it. Our next slide has to do with something you probably don't think about very often. So I want to bring some things to your attention. Most of us don't think about your deodorant, the lotions, the perfumes, your makeup, and literally everything else you're putting on your body on a daily basis is having chemicals and toxins in them. However, they do if you're not buying 100% naturally derived products. For those of you who joined us in our last talk, you'll recall us talking about when you see something on a product that says natural, it does not mean it's all natural or healthy. So it's really important to read the labels on all of your products. And if you don't recognize the name, I encourage you to Google it and learn more about it. I could go on and on and on about this subject, but I think you're getting the picture. And this is why I started incorporating full home makeovers with my clients so I can educate them on getting rid of not just toxic foods and drinks, but also on the chemicals and the products that we're putting on our bodies and replacing them with a naturally derived and very healthy alternatives. So as you see in the slide, there's some pretty bad toxins in lipstick alone. And this was just a small handful of things that we were pointing out to you. There wasn't even enough room on the slide to list all the toxins in lipstick alone. But it's not all bad. There is some good news here. There are so many great skincare and healthy care product lines coming about because they're trying to educate you on what's really in our products. So If you have any questions on where to shop or what to buy, I'd be happy to send you a list. So in addition to the things we've discussed thus far, there's many activities you can do to help you detox. In addition to all the really great ones that Kecia mentioned, especially with regards to exercise, sweating, and breathing. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick breath. Why don't you guys all take a deep breath with me? Feels good. All right. So as a nutritionist, I want to emphasize the importance of also detoxing your lymph system, as it touches almost every part of the body, but we often don't even think about it. Its main function is to cleanse toxins and protect us from harmful invaders. It tackles both the internal and the external toxins we've been talking about today. So unlike blood, lymph doesn't have a pump, so it's critical that we do things to help get rid of the toxic debris. A sluggish lymph system can be the root cause of chronic health conditions, so let's look at some really cool things you can start doing. I selected these things. There's so many more, but these are the least, they don't take that much time, and they're the least expensive, and they work great. So that's why I'm suggesting these. We have this picture at the top right. It's called a rebounder, or you may know it as a mini trampoline. So this is something I recommend you try for at least 10 minutes a day. It's really fun with great music. It's easy, it's inexpensive, and you can actually work up a really good sweat pretty quickly. Rebounding is by far the most effective movement therapy for increasing lymph flow and draining toxins from the body. So below that, we have dry brushing. And Kecia did a great job emphasizing our skin is our largest organ, and it plays such a crucial role in supporting optimal detoxification. I highly recommend investing in a good quality dry brush. They're only about $10 to $20 with natural bristles, and work this into your morning routine before hopping in the shower each day. Think about it this way. When your lymph system isn't working well, it's easy for waste and toxins to build up, leading to inflammation and disease. It's so important to dry brush so you can get your skin eliminating those wastes more efficiently. When you dry brush, you want to be sure to start at your feet, and you're going to work your way up on your dry skin, always brushing towards your heart. There's so much great information online and not enough time today to go into more details, so I encourage you to Google it and learn more about it. And as you're learning, sweating is a very important part of detoxing and staying healthy. So we want to make sure that you're sweating out those toxins as often as you can. I recommend trying new activities so you never get bored, like maybe hot yoga, or you can relax in a sauna. Most wellness centers and fitness centers have both of these options nowadays, which is so great and convenient for all of us. One of my favorite parts of working out is rewarding myself with sitting in the sauna at the end for just 15 minutes. Helps you relax, unwind, and detox all at the same time. Well, last but not least, we have oil pulling. Did you guys know that sleep is one of the most important times for detoxing? And that's why we started our webinar series off last time with the importance of getting a great night's sleep. If you missed that one, be sure to let us know if you're interested in learning how to get a great night's sleep, and we can send that to you. So because we've been detoxing all night, it's a really great practice to start every morning with a process called oil pulling. So it's a powerful way to support your body in getting rid of toxins, killing candida, improving digestion, burning fat, and it's so great. It actually naturally will whiten your teeth and so much more. Oil pulling has been used for centuries for cleansing and detoxifying. It's very inexpensive and easy. So what you're going to do is when you wake up each morning, before you eat, drink, or brush your teeth, you're going to put about a tablespoon or two of organic coconut oil into your mouth and swish between your teeth. If you can do it for at least 15 minutes, that's great. Longer is even better. And then when you're done, just go ahead and spit it out in the trash. Otherwise, it's going to clog your drains. And then when you're done, you could rinse your mouth with warm salt water for extra microbial benefits, or just go ahead and brush your teeth as normal. It's one of my favorite ways to start the day, and it really cleans out your mouth. It also helps if your dentist ever tells you you need a root canal or something's going on, it's going to really help get rid of the pain. I can personally share my testimony on that along with several of my clients. So I hope you've learned some really great tips from me today, not only on how you're going to feel better to detox, but Once you start doing these things, you're going to see your skin glowing, your energy improving, you're going to sleep better, and your spirits are going to be lifted. I'd love it for you to share with me what 1 to 2 things you're going to do each day to promote detoxing. You can email me at Christine@FreshStartNutritionCoach.com. You can go ahead and check out my Facebook page at Fresh Start Nutrition, or go ahead and email me, or actually can go to my website. I just had a new ebook created, and that's at FreshStartNutritionCoach.com. And you can get added to my email list, and I'll keep you updated on the latest and greatest ways to detox. And next, we have one of my favorite speakers and energy healers of all time. She's going to be talking with you about some really cool ways you can detox your body, your home, and your mind. You're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned. Renee Frederick received her PhD in psychology from Brandeis University, where she studied aging. She is the owner of DrHeatherRenee, a company that gives people the tools they need to discover and live their life of purpose. She's calling in tonight from Laguna Niguel, California. Heather, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks so much, Christine. You know, I love doing these webinars with you both. I learned so much, and Christine came and did a home makeover for me about a year ago, and it was really amazing to see all the toxins I had in my home, and help me getting those out with some great alternatives. And yes, the kids and even the kids, I wasn't sure about them having glass water bottles all day, but we drink our water now out of glass water bottles, and it's been going fine. Now, I want to add a different dimension to this conversation, because I want to talk about your energy and some things you can do to clear up, cleanse, detox your energy field. Now, if you heard our webinar on sleep, this first part is going to be just a little bit of a recap, but I think it's important because people always ask me, what do you mean by energy? It's got a lot of different names and different cultures and traditions. You may have heard of chi or prana, but listen, the bottom line, all you really need to know is that everything, and I mean everything, radiates an energy field. And so everything we come into contact with is either going to strengthen us or weaken our life energy. This is because we are energetic beings. Okay, so our language even reflects this. We say things like, he had a bad vibe, or it just didn't feel right, or we just clicked. And this is because you can actually feel someone else's energy. And remember, if you tuned in for our last webinar, all day long you leak out your energy and you pick up stuff that's not yours. And so here on the left, you see a cleaned up energy field. And here on your right, you see one that needs some detoxing. And I do want to remind you that energy field is both within you and extends a few feet beyond you, up to 5 feet. Okay, so when you've got this cleaned up, cleansed energy field, you're going to feel happier. You're going to be able to think more clearly. And quite simply, it's going to be easier for you to live your life purpose. So what I want to do is just give you some fun things that you can do. This first one, you probably do it already. You take a bath, but I'm going to give you some tips. And you know, when we started this webinar and we all came together, many of us, we had some of the same things on our list. We all had exercise, we all had breathing, we all had baths. So we kind of divided it up. We hope you enjoy the way that we divided this up. Number 1, a tub full of clean water. Kecia talked about your skin being the largest organ. Christine maybe shocked you a little bit with those statistics about water. You do not want to be soaking yourself in toxic soup. I hadn't even thought about this until Christine came over to do our makeover. And you know what? She was able to hook me up with a super low cost shower filter. So now I can take my bath knowing that I'm soaking in clean water. Now, you're going to add 2 cups. Guys, this is a lot. 2 cups of sea salt, 2 cups of baking soda. You're probably used to doing a capful of something or maybe a tablespoon. I'm talking, we're up in the ante here. The sea salt, the baking soda, it acts as a magnet. It's going to be pulling physically toxins out, but it's also going to be cleaning up your energy field. Okay, please make sure this is the good stuff. It shouldn't have other things in there. Don't buy things with fragrances. Don't buy bath products that have words that you can't say. Some good old sea salt ingredients. Sea salt. And good old baking soda. If you want a scent, I'm going to recommend some essential oils. Personally, I like lavender. 8-ish drops usually works. Again, good quality stuff. Based on my research, I can recommend doTERRA, Young Living, and Rocky Mountain Oil Company. So again, make sure you're putting high quality stuff in there, because if it's on your body, it's going in your body. Now, if you really want to turn up the dial, I'm going to suggest that you put a quantum infused medallion in there and you surround yourself with high frequency music. Remember, we talked about frequency on the last webinar. I've got some suggestions here that I personally recommend and use, and you can find those on my website that I'll be getting to you here in just a minute. Now, as you're in this bath, you're already in there relaxing. What I want you to do is just take a moment to visually scan your body and look for things. You may see them or you may just feel them. And again, in your body and in your field that aren't serving you. I like to just say they're yucky. They're things that you don't need. And you can visualize them coming out and dissolving. You can visualize them just coming out and maybe they're not going to dissolve. But when you unplug the drain, just take that moment. You're going to be doing some deep breathing and watch all that stuff that you've picked up that's not serving you just swirl around that drain. Now, if you don't like to bathe, you don't have a bath, you can certainly do this type of visualization with a shower, right? Just visualize. I like to visualize pure love and light cleansing me, and just anything that's on my skin or in my field being washed and removed down the drain. Okay, so there's your body. Pretty basic. You probably already do it. I'm just asking you to add a little recipe and do some visualization. Now let's talk about detoxing your space. Personally, there's lots of different ways to do this. Personally, I like ones that involve fire, but I didn't want to be recommending that on tonight's webinar, so I'm doing one that's very benign. You can do it with your kids, and it's salt. Epsom or sea salt, again, no chemicals. Watch where it's coming from. If you've got carpet, you can sprinkle it, place it in a bowl, put it in the corners. You're going to leave it for up to 48 hours. Again, it's going to act like a magnet, pull things out that aren't doing you any good. It's going to lighten up that space. It's going to make it feel airy and not heavy. After the time has passed, 48 hours, if you can stand it, if you can't, just do whatever you can do. Throw it away or flush it. I like to flush it down the toilet. I like that visualization. You just put it in there, flush it, and say bye-bye. If you sprinkled on the carpet, you're going to vacuum it up. I do this every month. We actually make it a little ritual. I do some intention setting at the same time that I recommend. Maybe as a family, you want to come up with a prayer. For me, it's just, hey, if there's anything in here that's not serving me and my family, we're releasing it and we're filling this space with pure love and light. You'd also want to consider this if you've moved to a new place, if there's been sickness in your space, and this can be at home, in a specific room, or at work, or after there's been a disagreement or an argument, you're going to want to clear out that energy. Certainly after a party or a gathering, or any time you've had a lot of people in your space. So something to consider too, if you've got a workspace where people are coming in and out, take some time, detox that space. Okay, so those first two, pretty simple, requiring very little cognitive effort. So now I want to talk about detoxing your mind. And if you remember from that last webinar, I talked about dominant thoughts. What it is that you're spending most of your time thinking about is actually creating your reality, because thoughts create emotions, which create our vibration and the energy we're putting out there, and that creates our reality. Again, we could do a whole nother webinar on this, but check out the one on sleep if this is sounding new to you. And I just want to say, what's going on in that head of yours? Are there some thoughts that maybe you'd like to clean up? Would you like to do a little spring cleaning in there? And I want you to play a little game with me. What if every single thing we thought or did was rooted in only one of two things? We had to categorize everything coming through, everything that we're doing, everything we're thinking. We either had to put it in a love box or a fear box. And what I would love for you to do is to spend some time recognizing where your dominant thoughts are coming from by asking yourself, is this coming from love? How do I suggest you get started on this so that you're not overwhelmed? I say, get out your phone, and depending on your schedule and your lifestyle, set an alarm tomorrow for anywhere between 5 and 20 times. Okay, the more the better. And every time your phone goes off, you're going to ask, was that coming from love or fear? And you're going to start noting these, and just becoming conscious of it is going to help you start making a change. Now, I want to give you a little cautionary note here. And the cautionary note is that often clients will say to me, here's my list, Heather, and guess what? Most of them are coming from love. But in reality, if you're doing or thinking something about someone else that they could consider nagging, let me give you some quick examples. Talking to your partner about their weight or their exercise regime or their eating choices, or hounding your child about their homework. If that other person could see it as nagging, I want you to consider it may be coming from fear. I just want you to consider that. So when you're on your partner about their lifestyle choices and you're saying, but Heather, it's because I love them, I want you to consider that that concern may be coming from your fear of losing them. Okay, and I want you to ask yourself, if I truly loved and accepted this person unconditionally for who they are and their unique journey, how would I be talking to them right now? What would I be doing right now? Would it look different? Again, play this game with me. Play it for a couple days. See if it changes things for you. When you recognize that thoughts are coming in that maybe are fear-based, super simple. You're just going to say, cancel, delete, next thought. I like to do all of it. And I like to say it out loud if I can. People probably think I'm crazy, but it's more effective for me. I like to be a self-talker. The thought comes in, I say, delete, next thought. And then if the next thought that doesn't come naturally is one that is raising my vibration, then I replace it with a mantra that I have ready to go. Right now, the mantra that I'm using is, my life is a wonderful and magical adventure. My mantras usually come to me during meditation. They change quite frequently, but you're going to want to pick one that makes sense for you, that resonates with you, and that changes your vibration. So I've got a couple of possible ones here for you to consider. Say your alarm goes off, and every time it goes off, you're stressed because your to-do list is just too darn long. Maybe you're going to say cancel or delete, and then say to yourself, Rome wasn't built in a day, or the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Of course, one of my favorites and go-tos, and one I recommend to my clients, is just breathe. Again, breathing, you guys, oh my goodness. If everyone just took lots of deep breaths every day and could squeeze in some time for meditation, I am absolutely convinced this world would look different. So maybe you can do your part of changing the world and bringing us one step closer to world peace. And all I'm going to ask you to do is breathe. So those are some mantras that you could put in there. Now, as you start becoming aware and conscious of your thought process, something commonly happens, and that is that people start judging themselves. They go, oh my God, I thought I was a positive thinker. I thought I was nice. I thought I was a loving person. And now, Heather, I'm realizing 85% of the things I'm thinking and doing are based in fear. Please, no judgment. Because you are on a journey, you're taking steps to detox your thought process, to raise your vibration. So just have loving acceptance for yourself. And what's so important is to please also have loving acceptance for others, because you know what usually happens once you start becoming conscious of what's running around in your head? You start looking at other people. That's human nature. And you're, they need to detox from their thoughts. That's a self-limiting belief. And next thing you know, you're wanting to help other people clean up their thoughts. Listen, no judgment. Everyone is doing the best that they can. And so that might need to be a mantra for you as you start doing this, that those thoughts come in about someone else that may be a little judgy, that you just say to yourself, Heather, well, I would say to myself, you're only going to say that if your name's Heather, everyone's just doing the best that they can, and have loving acceptance for where they are right now. If you enjoyed any of the tips that I gave you tonight, I want to let you know I did record a 4-minute energy clearing meditation I have on my YouTube channel. It's a great one to do at night, helps clean up your energy field. I also like to recommend it if you're feeling a little cranky or grumpy. I say if you feel like you need a timeout and you've got 4 minutes, go check this out. It's on my YouTube channel. You can find me on my Facebook page where I've got a free download for you. Follow me on Facebook. Would love it if you liked me there. And as always, just like with the other ladies, feel free to email me with comments or questions. I would love to hear from you. Let's do a quick recap. We went over, we knew we were going to be long because there was just so many fun things that we wanted to share. Remember that your lungs are super important. And as we're getting ready to wrap this up, I would just love to do a collective deep breath together. Remember last week, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. So breathe in through your nose and then out. Bonus points if you make an audible breath. Think about glutathione. And if you need to add this mother of all antioxidants into your life, see what you can do about adding some foods and drinks. Again, just make it part of your daily regime. Make it part of your lifestyle. Get a trampoline. It's fun. Think about your water and all the products that are around you, just your personal care products in your household and how that may be impacting your overall toxic load. And hopefully I showed you it can be fun, and it can even be very easy to remove funky energy that isn't serving you from your body, your home, and your mind. So, again, we're running out of time here, but let's see if we've got anything in the chat box. I think we're okay in terms of questions. We answered a few along the way. I just want to remind you, if you didn't already, when you reserve your spot, click this teal button that says subscribe me. As we continue with this series that we're only doing this year, we've got a handful of them planned. If you just click that button, you'll go ahead and get the emails so that when we've got one planned, you'll know to show up. And if you can't, no problem. It gets recorded and gets automatically emailed to you. So on that note, I would just like to say thank you so much for your time. We know you have choices about where you spend your time. We're so blessed that you chose to spend it with us. And we wish you happy spring cleaning. Everyone have a great rest of your night.